Search around online for a little bit and you'll find tons of people asking how to achieve that film look. Then you'll also find tons of other people saying that the film look is a myth, or that it takes years of experience to master, or has too many components to explain. But there's never really a definitive answer. Well, it's true that the film look does take time to master and is very difficult to capture, but there are distinct differences between the feel of video and the feel of a movie. I'm going to do my best to break it down for you and give you the most specific, definitive answers instead of some philosophical, empty statement that doesn't help anyone. The answers are here, but they might surprise you. Everything in life is a balance. Never is either end of the spectrum completely right or wrong, and you must find the happy medium between the two. Too often, people boil down the film look to 24 frames per second, resolution, film grain, or some other technical reason why indie films don't look and feel like a movie. These elements, while important, have very little to do with the actual film look. At the other end of the spectrum, you have people with big philosophical ideas and fancy words and phrases, but they offer very little meaning to an actual person trying to learn something. In this video, I'm going to go over the 5 pillars of the film look. Lighting. One of the biggest downfalls of any production is bad lighting. Bad lighting immediately signals low budget, non-professional home video. How many behind-the-scenes photos have you seen of a professional film set that just had a camera? If you plan to shoot with available light only, you better know what you're doing and understand how to balance and shape that light. 4 out of 5 times, the natural light of a space is not going to be doing what you want it to. It will be too top-heavy, too dark, too bright, mixed color temperatures, too harsh, too soft, or some other immediate problem. You have to be able to fix these issues. Thinking that lighting doesn't matter is going to immediately mark your film as amateur and unprofessional. The great thing about lighting is that it's pretty easy to fix. You don't need expensive lights to achieve a film look. You just need purposeful and intentional lighting. Use a white bedsheet to diffuse the lighting, or grab some kind of reflector and bounce light around. Look up some cheap do-it-yourself lighting options and get yourself a kit. Expensive gear usually makes it easier, but it's not a requirement by any means. The most important thing is just to keep your light in mind. Look at images from movies that have the film look you desire and imitate their techniques. Study an image and you can pretty easily figure out what kind of lighting setup is being used. It just takes time and patience, which are both too often overlooked for run-and-gun movie making. Audio. To me, there is no bigger sign of poor production than bad audio. People lose sight of the fact that audio is half of the movie. It's a subconscious feeling, but a production doesn't feel like a film if the audio sounds like a home video. This means using professional microphones and recording devices on set. This also means having a person solely dedicated to audio and making sure that it's flawless. In the grand scheme of things, good audio is far more important than 24p or resolution. This is why so many people add film soundtracks to their videos. It immediately evokes a sense of professionalism and quality to an otherwise normal video. Try watching Inception without the audio and replace it with your buddy doing his best Leo impersonation over iChat.
So we're in a dream world, inside a dream world, inside another dream world.
You can get away with a lot, and you can cheat this list in many different ways, but you can never sacrifice audio quality. Music alone is a powerful tool that can be used to manipulate an audience's emotional state. But I say take it one step further. Audio, in general, makes people feel, and professional audio will get the audience on your side, and your production will appear to be much more filmic in nature. Style. Most movies are memorable for their style. This includes characters, wardrobe, location, and anything else that contributes to the atmosphere of the film. So if you want to have that film look, you need to have style. Locations is probably one of the most important components to adding production value to any project. There's a reason so many low-budget to no-budget films heavily feature kitchens, bedrooms, and generic streets. There's also a reason why Lord of the Rings feels so epic and film-like. Those movies have a style and atmosphere that ties the entire trilogy together. If you want the film look, you need style, so think about props and wardrobe, the colors the characters wear, how those colors complement the locations, how those locations fit the story, and on and on and on. Just because it is convenient doesn't mean your friend's basement is the best place to film. And even if your story calls for generic locations, spice them up with proper set decorations and add style that way. Look at a film set and pay attention to all the details you see and try and reproduce them as best as you can in your own work. Come up with a style for your work and make sure every element of the production matches that style. Movement. Watch a movie and pay attention to how much the camera moves and how it moves. Guaranteed, it's probably a lot more than you've noticed before, and it's probably a whole lot more controlled than anything you have the budget for. But that's okay, because just adding some controlled movement to your shots adds a lot of production value and gets you closer to that film look. Find creative ways to follow the action in a way that is dynamic but natural and motivated. While handheld movement is movement, it's not as controlled as you'd want it to be, and thus is excluded from this pillar. The Bourne movies are known for their shaky handheld style, but take that same style and apply it to a movie with no budget, and you've got a recipe for disaster. People are a lot more forgiving when you have Matt Damon in your film. Color. I can't believe how many people miss this piece of the puzzle. Every film goes through a color grading process, so yours should too. Color evokes emotions and it manipulates the audience into feeling what you want them to feel. Look at any raw footage from a Red or an Alexa camera, and guaranteed it's a far cry away from that so-called film look. You need to control the colors of your image, just like you control the lighting on set. A photographer that uses Photoshop is at a far better advantage than one that just turns in pictures right off the camera. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage and spend the extra time doing a proper color treatment to your film. The hardest part about this list is that these are not the kinds of things that filmmakers usually find to be fun. People want simple things like gear and firmware to solve their film look problems. The truth is that it's hard work and usually expensive, but it actually has very little to do with a camera. 24 frames a second and 4K are important, but only if these 5 pillars are achieved first. Spend your time working on this list and you'll be far happier with the overall results.